Adrienne, I want people to understand, you are in a highly specialized field and have chosen a very highly focused niche, which, and I'm a big believer, as Joe knows, riches in the niches, but with your infertility patients, do you have a personal story associated with why you made this decision, and would you mind sharing?
Yeah, definitely. So today I have a beautiful 5-year-old daughter, but what people don't know is that I actually have struggled with my own hormone imbalance. And that goes way back to my teenage years. And I really didn't know what was happening, and nor did I care, because nobody really educates you on things about your reproductive systems. So fast forward to acupuncture school in my mid-20s, I all of a sudden realized that what I was experiencing was not normal. And of course, when I was in acupuncture school, I was like, I would be the best guinea pig for myself to see if I can fix this hormone imbalance. And that's what I did. I spent numerous number of years working, obviously taking Chinese herbs, the stinky teas again, and also getting acupuncture. And I was able to normalize my hormones. And that was even before I met my husband or thinking about having children. But once I realized I had the hormone imbalance, I was finding other women who were experiencing the same things. It's like when you buy a blue car, all of a sudden everybody's driving a blue car. And I realized there's so many women out there that are suffering from hormone imbalance and they don't know where to go for help. So that was easy for me when I graduated. I just knew that was going to be my niche.
So that's awesome. So you actually decided this from the get-go.
And
that's something I didn't realize. That's awesome. That's
yes.
Awesome. What has been your greatest triumph since focusing on this specific niche? What makes you smile every night?
Well, definitely the fact that I'm changing lives. Mm-hmm. I'm helping somebody who thought they could never be a mother to bring a human being into this world. And I think that's very, very gratifying for me. And also the fact that I'm empowering women. I'm taking somebody who comes to me who feels that they have absolutely zero chance, zero hope of ever achieving their dream in motherhood. And I'm able to help them to go back to the basics, listen to their bodies, and find out what exactly is happening and fix that.
Well, the other thing that's impressive to me is you're actually referred by doctors who have basically done everything they can, and then they say, go to Adrienne, go to Inner Peace. That's impressive. So so often in your industry, there's like this love-hate relationship versus a huge respect, and you have been effective at positioning yourself as a specialist. How have you done that? How have you done it where they see you as a specialist, just like a neurologist or somebody else, to help their patients so that everybody looks good in the end?
So when I first started, it was definitely just really focusing on the few patients that I had and provide excellent service and helping them achieve their goals. So I did get a lot of referrals just from patients. And then I actually realized that doctors around Charlotte it's not that they don't want to refer people out to acupuncturists, it's just maybe they don't know.
Right.
So I reached out to a number of doctors and I offered to do some workshops for them. And one of them, Dr. Hurst at CMC Women's Institute, was very receptive to that. And I met with him, and plus we were sharing some of the same patients. So I wanted to meet him and just kind of say hey, introduce myself, and I had a few questions for him. But the conversation was great, and I ended up doing like a lunch and learn for them for all the nurses.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. If I want to poke people with needles, how do I do that? Is there like a school for this? How does this work? Give me what's the detail on this if I want to start poking people?
I'm so glad you asked that. So don't go out today and start poking people.
Because I think I can do this. I think by next Tuesday I could start collecting money.
Joe, you don't need needles to poke people.
Stop with the bell. We was going a whole month without a bell.
Great question. So I'm a licensed acupuncturist in the state of North Carolina, which meant I had to gone to a...
Whoa. North Carolina has a certification process you got to go through? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So basically, if you're a licensed acupuncturist, that means that you've gone through formal training in the field of acupuncture, and it's a Master of Science program. So we had to have 3,000 hours of clinical training as well, wow, in addition to all the academics. So it took me about 5 years. And I didn't get a summer vacation because it was a trimester program. So imagine if we were on a 2-semester program, it would have taken me like 8 years.
Yeah. So poking people with needles is no joke.
No, it's not.
And we definitely, from the moment that we step foot in acupuncture school, you start learning all the points. And there's over 700 of them. And you learn each point, where they're located, what their functions are, and what they're used for. And then you learn how to combine the points. You learn when somebody comes in how to diagnose them, and then pick the points based on that. So it's an art.
Interesting. Pat told me that he can do all this with some cobra blood. That's what he told me.
Well, you know, Joe, I have to share with you a personal experience, because another area that Adrienne is now exploring, and gosh, I'm going to share my age now, is the perimenopause and menopause aspect. So again, a women's health, and she's looking at. So I'm kind of a guinea pig for her, and I've been a big believer in acupuncture. And one day, just feeling a lot of stress, Adrienne decides to put a needle at the top of my head. And for the very first time during that 20 minutes, I've tried that mindfulness thing, I don't know how many times, but I'm like you, Joe, I have a million things going on in my head. It's hard to shut it down, right? And because of that darn needle, I was able to focus in. And now, ever since then, I honestly just pretend I have that needle in my head, and I can meditate. And I could not do it before. It
was transformational.
So it was very transformational for me. So it's pretty amazing, this stuff. It really is. Yeah.
Does it hurt? Does the needle hurt?
It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that just, it right. really doesn't, because it's about the width of your hair. That's how thin the needles are. So I think people think needles, they think, the hypodermic needles that you go and when you give blood. That's not that at all.
Is it like one needle in one place does the trick, or like, because I've seen some movies where they were like,
yeah, and it's too dramatic. They do that for movies. It's Hollywood, but no, it's very methodical. There's a way to figure out where to put the needles, and depends on what you're coming in for. There's a number of different places that we'll put the needles in.
So are you looking for a blood vessel or a nerve or a muscle, or like, what is it you're
No, actually none of we don't, no.
I would have failed the first time.
Yeah, we don't needle into veins or arteries or anything like that, or nerves. In fact, we avoid nerves. So
which means you really need to know where those 700 points are.
And most of the acupuncture points are located in muscle groups. So if you run your finger along the side of your arm, you'll feel the depressions. That's most likely an acupuncture point.
Oh, so if the needle's in a muscle,
right.
Yeah, got it.
No, it feels like a little zing, and then it's gone.